Yeah, between two CT. Of course, our CT also connected to a relay. So it's mainly to protect what we call the internal fault. Yeah. Internal means anything in between the two CT. Like you have a fault here. Like for example, this will be considered internal fault. Yeah. And also the generator winding, for example. You have a short and it's able to detect some current. It depends on the current magnitude. If the current magnitude is big enough, it will actually cause a relay to send a signal to trip the circuit breaker. Of course, the details of this control circuit not shown to you, but I believe he has already covered this in his lecture. So if you take a look, similar diagram in his lecture notes. I think it's somewhere here. Similar arrangement. Yeah. And in fact, this is the one. Yeah. So we can see that, for example, this is generator differential protection, and these are the three standard windings similar to what you have here. Of course, over here we don't show the three-phase circuit. This is only one-line diagram, so it's only phase A, for example. And yours is Y connected, so is this guy. This guy is also Y connected. Yeah, and you can also have a ground here if you like to. And these are the three sets of CT on the right, which is similar to that on the left. So what I meant by the control circuit will be this part, which is not shown now, but he assumed that you already understood this. So the control circuit will be tapping the signal from the two CT, and then it will go through what we call the restraint winding, the coil here. Yeah. So it will go through here, and these two guys, depending on the situation, if you have an external fault, the current will go this way. So at the end, you have nothing here. The current that goes through the operating winding will be zero. So the relay will not trip. Because external fault means fault outside of the two CT. Like in our case, from here all the way to the external system is classified as external fault. Any fault that is beyond its protection, it will not cause any tripping. So it will be all will be this arrangement, and the current going through here will be zero, so it will not trip anything. So it's not doing just for phase A, phase B as well. Sometimes the fault can be line to ground fault on phase B, internal or external. So you must take care of everything. So this is for external fault. If it's an internal fault, you will see something like this will be fault here, and it will cause the current going the other way around, and the current that goes through the operating winding will be additive. It means you add it up, and the value will be high enough to cause the tripping. So we will examine both. Yeah. So I was trying to explain to you the what we call the differential protection. This is another arrangement for the delta. Okay, you're not doing the delta, rather you're doing the Y. Okay, let's go back to our solution. So today you are doing two prongs. One prong of the transformer protection. This is a transformer protection. It's quite complicated in the sense that you have a delta Y transformer. Yeah? And you can see that the way it's connected on the high voltage side, there's 138 kV side, is connected as a delta because it's loop structure. Whenever you have loop, it's what we call delta. It doesn't have a neutral. Whereas on the 69 kV side, it's connected as Y. You can see you have actually the center, something similar to that, where you have what we call the neutral. And then the three lines are brought out, A, B, C, or similar. So this is what we call the Y. Whenever you have delta Y transformer, the connection is more complex because ultimately you need to get a kind of a control current to drive the relay. So with this type of arrangement, whenever you see a delta of this, your CT must arrange such that you get what we call the Y, in order you can get a line current. So same arrangement here. When you have a Y, you cannot use Y already, because if you get Y, then you get something that is different from here. You want the two to be kind of line current in order to get a mismatch as low as possible. But due to the delta Y transformation, the delta Y connection, you may not have exactly the same type of current cancellation. So that is a mismatch, and that's why you are asked to compute the current mismatch. And how do you actually minimize the mismatch? So that is actually the gist of the whole thing that you have to work on. So this is always the case with delta Y. When you have this delta Y, you have an issue with that, and you have to compute the mismatch. So that's why we are using what we call the tap on the CT itself to minimize the mismatch. Okay? So we are going to actually go through and also follow the lecture notes, the theory that he has covered for you. We are going to use the theory to do the calculation on that part. Alright? So this is a solution that he provided. Okay? So this is 13869. 138 is on this side. 138 side is connected as a delta. 69 kV connected as a Y. So this is a transformer that we are going to put in differential relay or differential protection. So it's asking you to use this CT with taps. It's just like a transformer, you have taps there, changing the turn ratio. So the high voltage side will have suggested to you that we use the tap position at 6. Low voltage side to use 9. We are assuming that the CT has many taps, perhaps 1 to 10. So it's asking you to use this tap. The CT ratio on the delta side is also given to you. So this side, CT later on that you use is using 300 to 5. This is a high voltage side. So that is the CT that later on you have to use, and this is 300 to 5, something like that. And then later on here on this side, you're also using your CT, but it's using 500 to 5. So in other words, this is about 100 times. This is about 60 times. So you have to actually kind of lower the current on the secondary side by 60 times, whereas on the other side, the Y side, is 100 times. This is a given parameter. So he wants you to draw the phasor diagram of the three-phase terminal currents. So the terminal current will be all this current coming out. These are terminal current, right? So these are the three terminals. He wants you to draw. So this is the first part. And then secondly is to draw the connection of CT. So this CT, how you connect. So we want more or less the two sides to give you some kind of a control current through the restraint winding and through the operating winding, such that we don't want the relay to see any current if it's external form. So the two sides more or less must give you the same. But due to delta Y, you have issue because whenever you connect delta, you get line current that is √3 times the phase current. So the current is already not exactly the same. Unlike this, it's a Y connected. The way you tap on either side will be more or less same. But you have delta Y, it becomes not so straightforward. So these are something you need to worry, and we have to actually minimize the mismatch. So first part, we ask you to draw the circuit diagram. For that part, we will consult the lecture notes that he already taught you. And connection. Connection is very simple. We will tell you whenever you see delta, just put Y. Whenever you see Y, just put the CT delta, so that the two will get more or less the same current in terms of the current that comes through the control circuit. And then finally, to compute the current mismatch relay, if you use a present configuration, what will be the mismatch? And then how you make use of the tab to minimize the mismatch. So this is what we are going to do. Alright? Yeah. So I think this is the understanding. Yeah? Okay, so this is actually copied down, nothing here. See. So the polarity of the tabs are already given to you. These are the polarity. Polarities are what we call dot convention. So that means this is positive, this will be positive. The dot basically saying like that. Yeah. So these are the dots that we are going to follow. Okay. So we are doing the first part. Draw the phasor diagram. So this is actually the phasor diagram already. I think this is coming from this lecture note. You just probably copy down. So you can see we are drawing. The question actually asks you to draw the terminal current. Terminal current obviously will be this, IA1 minus IB1, and also the terminal current IA2, IB2, ICU. These are the terminal current, right? Terminal means the three terminals of the transformer. The transformer is three phase, so you get three terminals. So whatever the terminal that you have, you bring out and measure the current is what we call terminal current. Yeah. Alright, so this is a very easy type of diagram that you can draw. The only thing here, it doesn't make much engineering sense, but it's easy to remember. So you just draw them and then you can see this kind of triangle. But if I'm going to draw it, for example, IA1 and IB1 is here, and we know IB1 will be negative, right? Because phasor addition is negative, so I will draw it like this. In parallel with this, in parallel. Yeah. So the length, about the same length, maybe around that. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, it will be phasor addition. So this is what we call minus IB1, right? Because basically it's the same parallel. This is positive IB1, and this is negative IB1. And you do phasor addition, right? IA1 minus IB1, so this is actually IA1 minus IB1, right now, yeah. So it's the same. You can see there in parallel. Of course, my diagram not so good, but it's supposed to be two parallel lines. This will probably make more sense than drawing this type of diagram, because we know it's a phasor addition. But the way we draw it, then it doesn't look like a triangle. So you can also copy these and put it here. So it looks like you can repeat the same thing with IB1 minus IC1, and same thing here with IC1, IA1. You can draw similar diagram. Yeah. Okay, so this is, I believe that he has covered for you in the lecture notes, right? So this is basically the diagram. The only thing, if I am going to make comments on this diagram, I would not draw it with IA1 longer than IA2. It's wrong. Yeah. Why is it wrong? I think you see from here. Yeah. Because we know S is equal to root 3 B line I line. Correct now? Yeah. So our S is very clear cut. Our S is this value. The magnitude of S, 50. Right? So this is going to be substituted as 50 MVA. So if you B line, you substitute 138. Right? Because on both sides, 50 is here, 50 is here too. So if you substitute 138, right, on the high voltage side, you will get IL a certain current. Yeah. So this IL, if you compare to 50, you substitute 50, and you substitute 69, which is on the secondary side, you expect that the IL here will be larger, whether here will be smaller. Correct now? Right? Because if you substitute, you go and play around, make the IL subject. IL the subject, and it will be S root 3 B line. You substitute, this is always 50 MVA, right? When you substitute 138, this is going to be a certain value, and this value is bound to be smaller than the value when you substitute 69. When you substitute 69, 50 here, IL here will be bigger. So you cannot draw IA2 smaller than IA1. Yeah? Wrong, right? But I think we know what he meant, Yeah. So he probably imported the wrong diagram. Yeah. So in fact now he got it corrected. This is right. Now you see IA1 smaller than IA2. Yeah. So maybe he just wants you to know the kind of general shape then he did not complete the whole thing. If you want to complete, you can also do that as well. Yeah. So, okay. So he has drawn for both the terminal. So if you even draw the CT side, the secondary side, that means so the secondary side, actually to be more careful, this will be going through, right? And the secondary will be coming down, like what we have here. So this will be the secondary side, because the primary side is just a wire going through the CT, right? Like a donut. You have seen the way that CT works. CT has only secondary winding, no primary winding. The primary winding is the one that you insert the wire. So as you can see, I think if you did not see last time, you can always go to our energy and machine lab. The box that you play with, you'll see 3 donuts, actually 4 donuts, because the neutral may be another CT. So you can see this is the way it should be. CT has only secondary winding, and this is the primary one, the wire that you insert in. Yeah. So this diagram is also appearing in your lecture notes. So using the lecture notes diagram, nothing special. So the only thing that you need to worry is if the side here connected as a delta, the CT must be connected as a Y. Yeah, because you already have this line current. Yeah. So prime means you are actually transformed to the secondary side of CT. That means after changing 60, step down by 60. So prime means it's a smaller, because at the end of the day, we come here, it's driving electronic circuit. It cannot take too high a current. Most relay operate only 5 amps, cannot be too high. So we cannot suddenly put a few hundred amps, you'll burn the relay. So that's why you're using a CT. Yeah. So you see here is delta, this is Y. How do I know it's Y? You see there's a neutral. Yeah, and the 3 coming in. Yeah, these are the 3 line current. It's similar to the 3 line current here, except that it's prime. Prime means secondary side. That means it has been stepped down by 60 times. Whereas here, stepped down by 100 times. Key point to know, if this is a Y, then this should be connected as a delta. Because on this side, it's not the subtraction, you see. You can see here, this coming out is IA2. 2 means secondary side. Like here is primary side, so subscript 1. So this is prime, IA2 prime. So you cannot say connect this as Y, if you connect this as Y, then the 2 quantities not the same. This is IA1 minus IB1, and whereas this is IA2. So it won't work. So that's why you must, when you see Y, you must have a delta. Only delta can give you a difference of the line current, like something like IA2 minus IB2. You know about delta because you have current and then subtract KCL, right? So that you can get IA2 prime minus IB2 prime, this type of thing. So this will be more or less the same line current that you want, so that you can do comparison. Yeah, and we want when this fall outside of this, it will not trip. So the quantity must be the same, but we have issue because of this delta Y. So you have a √3 type of thing, and then you may not get exactly cancellation. Yeah. So and that's why we must use the depth to do the correction, such that it will not be so even under external fault, it will trip the relay. Yeah? Because too high a current, the relay is only magnitude. If it's too big a current, it will start tripping. So we cannot pump too high a current. There's certain threshold. So we have to actually minimize the difference. Yeah. So that is what basically the emphasis. Yeah. So I think the connection diagram is not an issue because you already covered in the lecture notes, right? So the dots also follow your lecture notes what you have. The key point to know is the way that we have drawn is for external fault. You can see this going through, so it's like nothing. If they are exactly equal, of course they are not, due to the delta Y connection. Yeah. So we want to minimize this current, and that's what we are doing. How do we actually minimize? Yeah, this is for external. For internal fault, if a fault is inside in the winding, then this current will be reversed, so it will become effective. That means the two values were added, and this will be strong enough to drive, and the relay will start tripping. Okay, so your instructor has actually shown you. I think this is more or less the same as that, except it has a right magnitude in the sense that this is smaller and the secondary side higher because of 69 kV. Yeah, so you can draw actually the I1 minus IB1. This is the other side, the what we call 69 kV side. So he has drawn for you the secondary current 69 kV side, and this is 138 kV side. Yeah, see, these are the two current we are going to use, and the prime. I show you both. Yeah, this is the primary side. This is the secondary side. Yeah, 138 kV side. Yeah, because it's the delta, so you can get like this. Then we will not connect as a delta, but rather we will connect as a Y. Here is initially is a Y, but we will connect as a delta. Okay. So you can go back, and if you like, you can kind of show the rest. Just follow the first diagram and do it. Yeah. Okay. Any question on this? Yeah. So now we start doing the calculation. Yeah. So basically, we have gone through this part, phasor diagram, the bottom part. The connection of CT, just now page 2 of the diagram, we show the detailed CT, yeah, and the dots. And then now we're coming to part C. This is not part B, actually it's part C. Current mismatch, yeah? Yeah. Okay. So we are using this formula to do the calculation. So we want to know the current, this current, the current is, what is the maximum load current? So maximum load current is computed using maximum S load. If you can assume that the S is maximum, which in this case the rating is 50, then you can compute the line current. So line current, this is our I line, S, this is S root 3 B line. Yeah. So we are computing for the primary side. That means the high voltage side, and it turned out to be about 209 amps. So we can do the same calculation for the low voltage side, and you will notice that current is much higher. So we only change one value. Instead of 138, we change 69, and this is the current. The other side is connected as a Y, so line current and phase current are the same, not the different. So we have to actually connect our CT as delta to get the different in current, more like this, but it's called IA2 minus IB2. Yeah. So 209 on the primary side. After going through the CT ratio is 60, so you get now from here is a secondary side. So you get from here, so it will be stepped down by 60 times, and will give you about 3.48. Yeah. And whereas on the other side, you step down by 100, this is 100 times, so you can see that you get 4.18. Yeah. So I think it's very straightforward in terms of calculation. Yeah. All right. So next, this 4.18, you must actually multiply by root 3. I think the easier way to look at it is here. So far, we have computed this side. The 4.28 that we get is here, but we need to connect this as a delta, the CT as a delta. Delta means something like this. Yeah. Okay. So just now we compute the current that come out, say IA2 prime. Maybe we do exactly the same so that you don't confuse with that. IA2 prime, right? And this one, I think just now we have 4.28 amps, right? Let's take a look one more time. 4.18, I cannot remember. Yeah, 4.18, right now. Yeah. So it will go like this, IB2, IC2, something like that. IC2, this will be IB2. Yeah. And then we can actually compute. I think you want to compute IA2 minus IB2. So this will be IA2 prime minus IB2 prime. This one no need, if you just do a line current to phase current type relationship, we just multiply by root 3 will do. Because for delta, phase current is here, this is line current. If you know phase current is 4.1, to figure out the line current, how much is it? It will be simply root 3 the phase current. So this will be 4.18 times root 3. Yeah, just magnitude. So that's why we're getting 7.25. Yeah, so it's this value multiplied by root 3 because the value we just computed is a phase current. Yeah, in other words, the value that just come out from here, without taking the 120 degrees and phase shift into consideration, the magnitude wise is only 4.18. Yeah, but we are not bringing this current to here. Rather, we bring from the delta. Can you see from here? It's actually loop structure. Yeah, and then at the end of the day, we actually brought out this wire. And also here, the 3 wires. Yeah, maybe this is very confusing to see, but actually it's a delta. We brought out 3, 3 wire, 1, 2, 3. Right now, the other are all at the bottom. Yeah, so this is the first one, and this is the second one, and the third one is here. Yeah, so these are the 3 wires coming out from the junction of the terminal. Yeah, so and the value will be 7 point something, right? Whatever the value is. Yeah, root 3 times 4.18. Yeah, and we have computed here 7.25. Right? So that's how we compute. I think this should be very clear to you, root 3 times. So we take the difference. This is a current that will eventually go to the operating winding. Yeah? That means how we compute. Will be this value. We are now computing because these are the values that come out here. Right? So we use this minus that, doesn't matter. We consider absolute value. So that value is very high. In fact, this is for external fault. How can an external fault be such high? In fact, it may actually cause the lay to trip. That is where the problem very concerned with this. Because this is coming from the 138 kV after transformed to the secondary side, and this is from the other side, 3/48. So you get a difference of 3.782. Yeah. So this is coming from the secondary side, right? Oh, sorry, this is actually coming from the low voltage side. Rather, this is coming from the high voltage side. So the difference is 3.78. And typically 3.78 is too high. Yeah, it may cause, I think, 0.4, 0.5 amps all the way to 5 amps. It will cause the relay to trip relay. So we cannot tolerate this. It's very high. So what we suggest is we use a tap to minimize the value to kind of make it less sensitive. And this is following the notes that he has given to you. So it's here. This part of the lecture notes. In fact, it's very similar. Not exactly the same value. So far we have already computed on the delta side of the CT, root 3, and then take the difference. We just finished, right? So we want to actually minimize the current going through the operating winding, the one that drives the relay. And this value, as it turned out, something like 3 amps, 3 plus amps, is very high. So to minimize the current that goes through the operating winding under so far what we call the normal condition, because it is not our objective for protection. We don't protect for external fault. If you have anything going out, and this is a kind of normal condition, so we have to minimize. So the way to minimize is to use this to compute the tap. If you introduce, I think this problem actually introduced a tap for you, kind of 9 and 6. So we have to use on the high voltage side the value of 6, low voltage side 9. So that means you use 6, 9. Right? 6, this is a tap 6 and 9. 6, 9 means 2/3, 0.6667. Yeah? And then this will be a current that you have computed, in this case, the 2 values that you substitute here. So your job is to decide what the S is and then compute the mismatch percentage. So S is going to be the smaller of the current ratio, that means this current ratio, and the tap ratio. Tap ratio is not you decide, the problem decide for you. Use 69, that is 0.67. Then the current ratio will be whatever we just computed, like these two values, and earlier our values are different. You should choose the smaller. If this is smaller, you put smaller in the denominator. If this turn out to be smaller, you compare these two. If this turn out to be smaller, then you put in the denominator. Yeah, that's what the problem asks you to do. Yeah, following his lecture. The whole idea here is we use the tap to make it less sensitive, so that it will not be a lot of current going through the what we call operating winding. All right. So with that understanding, we can go back to the problem. Okay. So this problem, I think based on our calculation, the tap is already decided 6:9. Tap ratio 6, because the problem said the high volume side TH over DL, based on the formula that you just saw, must be 2/3. Yeah. And then this copy from whatever we have. So we have the IL is 7.25, is IH over IL. So IH is something that we computed is 3.486. Yeah, this is your IH, 3.486. That means 138 kV side. After going through the secondary side, so we get this value. 3.486 is IA1 prime minus IB1 prime. 3.1. So you go and compute, you see this is 0.67. This one is turned out to be maybe slightly less than 50%, 0.5. So apparently this value is smaller. So smaller, you must put in the denominator. This is S. S can be either one of these two. So we are putting this in the S, and the compute is about 39%. Yeah, that means this is a current mismatch that we may have. Yeah, okay. So that is basically you're using tap to make it less sensitive. Yeah. Any question on this? Yeah. This is always the case when you have a delta Y type of connection. When you have delta, it's headed. So you have to get this. Unlike the one, this problem, no issue. And you'll see that in the calculation, the mismatch can be 0. Yeah. So alright with that? Yeah. So we go on to the problem number 2.